Hi there, everybody. I'm Jennifer Angel, and this is my weekly report for week December the 22nd. Wow, I just can't believe, of course I can believe it, but it just seems amazing to me that it's the end of the year. Each year it seems to rush on by faster than the last, which reminds me that as a Capricorn, of course, I love to plan ahead to get everything organized. But I think one of my challenges, as well as a lot of other people, is to live in the moment. So it's great to look back at the past and plan for the future, but really, your life really is here and now in the moment. And, it's a continual challenge, let's say, to do that. I think the older you get, the more in touch with how important it is really to live in the here and now. So that's my overall message for you this week on this festive season, is to try and be with the people that you love and enjoy what's going on for every single moment. All right, so let's have a look specifically of what's going on this week. So first of all, we've got a new moon, which is in the sign of Capricorn. So it's Capricorn's happy birthday, Capricorns. It's your annual new moon. It does signify the beginning of a whole new solar year for you. So it's an exciting time. It's great for everyone else as well, because in Capricorn it does get you thinking about plans and get you thinking about what you want to achieve and what your purpose is and how you want to go forward from this point and what difference you want to make in the world, particularly through your business and career. And that's such a big part of our lives. So this is a very nice way to finish off the year. And although I just had that big discussion about living in the moment, it's a great time of the year to get your goals together and reassess how far you've come for this past year. Okay, now Saturn is on the move as well, and it's going to move into the sign of Sagittarius. So a little bit more philosophical, not so, dealing with so much deep sort of issues within yourself, for how it's been in Scorpio. It's going to be in Sagittarius for a period of best part of 3 years. So it will revert back to Scorpio next year between June and September. So we'll be talking about this a lot more as we go on. I do have a report up on the New York Daily News horoscope pages at the moment as well, on Saturn in Sagittarius, so you can go and have a read of that. Right in the middle of the week, or on the Thursday, we've got communication planet Mercury in a square with Uranus, so you want to be a little bit careful of making rash decisions or saying something without really thinking through the result that you want and the outcome. So take a step back, think before you speak is probably the overview there. Don't make too many rash decisions during this time, because the festive season is an emotional time often as well. So you want to be a bit aware of that. Also on that day, Mercury is going to conjunct Pluto, so this can put you into self-analysis. It's in Capricorn, so you want to be careful you don't get too gloomy. The Capricorn energy is fabulous in lots of ways, but there's always a downside, and the downside is all that seriousness can just get a little bit gloomy. So certainly use it to do self-analysis, particularly if you're going through a situation with anybody at the moment. You want to look at what is your part in the scenario, because as they say, it takes two to tango. Okay, so but it's a very good aspect for business as well. So there's a flair for business. can have discussions around business and your career or work, so use that to your advantage. Later on in the week, on the 27th, the start of the weekend, there's a sextile, which is like a opportunity, softer, more favorable aspect between the Sun and Neptune. So it's very imaginative, it's very intuitive, okay? So with everything that else is going on this week that we've just gone through, you want to check into your instincts. Certainly with Capricorn, it needs to look good, and look good on paper with the Capricorn influence, but with the Sun is in Capricorn and Neptune is in the sign of Pisces, so it's a highly intuitive. You want to check with your instincts as well. As I always say, if you can get something to look right and feel right, that's really a winning formula. All right, let's go and have a quick snapshot of each sign now. So Aries, your ruling planet Uranus is coming out of its retrograde transit this week, right on the 21st, so right at the start of the week, the Sunday. So that's going to just make you feel a little more settled, and that you can start to put things into motion more. So if you feel like you've been planning, getting things sort of organized, then you know this is a week. Even though traditionally it's a holiday week for many people around the world, you know, you've got a lot of activity and that new moon in your solar 10th house. So it's still all about business for you. So certainly try to have a break, but don't take your finger off the pulse either, okay? Mars is in your area there. Friendships, reaching out to people, so you want to keep your schedule a little bit flexible as well. And Saturn moving into your solar 9th house, which is a great area for you to get down into some study and gain some more knowledge, particularly knowledge which is going to help to boost your bank account. All right, moving on, let's have a look at Taurus. So Taurus, you've had Saturn right opposite you there in your relationship area for a few years now, so it's going to move out into the next sign. Very good for you to connect with people and to build relationships and partnerships with people that are going to be solid. So you want to be careful with the people that you invite into your life. You know, life really is short, or can be. And, you know, so you want to make sure that the people you associate with, and you put that invitation out there to come and share your life, that it's worthy of what you have to give. You want an equal exchange. And an equal exchange can mean all sorts of things. It doesn't mean that it's an equal exchange of money. It's just an equal exchange of energy. Okay, so one person gives one thing and another person gives something else. So it seems to balance out in some way. So that's what you want to look for over this next 3-year period, for always, really. Okay, now that new moon is in your 9th house, so this is a great time for you to get involved in some study, start something new, fresh, that's going to either help you on a self-development level or on a business level. That new moon is in Capricorn, so it's going to allow you to do some self-analysis. But it's also very good for a business, and you've still got Mars sitting in there in your solar 10th house, so it's all systems go with work. Okay, so once again, for you, the same as for Aries, you don't want to take your finger off the pulse from work altogether. Not too much partying. You want to be able to, you're going to have to hit the road running next year, okay, and business is very important to you over this next period. All right, so let's go to the next sign, which is Gemini. So Gemini, Saturn, the planet of stability, among other things, moving into your area of relationships, your solar seventh house. So therefore, best part of 3 years, it's going to move back next year into your business and area of productivity for a short time, 3 months between June and September. Excuse me, but in your area of relationships, you want to first of all deal with anything that's coming up from the past. And it's very important over this period that you don't want to labor on the past, but recognize any issues that keep repeating themselves. And you remember that old saying, you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. So it's time to sort of change a few things up so you can, be in more control of what's happening in your life, particularly around relationships. And also, don't forget Saturn. Saturn has, is known as the planet of limitation. Can be hard work under a Saturn influence, but what happens under Saturn is it's reality. It sets solid foundations. So you have a chance over this period to set solid foundations in your area of relationships. So that's good news. The new moon is in your solar 8th house, so this can encourage partnerships that are going to be financially viable. So, that's very, very nice for you. And we do have a few aspects with your ruling planet, Mercury, and it is conjunct right in the same position degree as Pluto. So that's in this solar 8th house. You want to make sure with partnerships, and particularly anything to do with money, that you're upfront and communications are of the highest degree of integrity, okay? You don't want anything coming back later that's going to be a surprise element, all right? Business-wise, with the Sun sextile Neptune, it's a very creative time, very imaginative time. You're a highly creative, intellectual person anyway, Gemini, and with you having a thinking planet, Mercury, is your ruler in a couple of aspects this week as well. You can come up with something that can be quite out of the box, okay? Make sure you get all your facts and figures and get everything together first before you share it. You don't want anyone sort of running off with your idea before you're ready to, put it out there, okay? All right, so Cancer, right opposite you, Cancer, there's the new moon, your annual new moon. So this is a fabulous time for you. Of course, as I always say, life is full of supportive and challenging aspects. So this is a great time to just kick off the week, to end the year and start the new year afresh. It's a time to really think about what's happening in your life right now, today. What do you want to change, and make some plans to do that. Put your intention out there to head in the direction that you want to head in for this next year. Now, we do have that Mercury in a square to Uranus. This is to do with relationships at work. So you want to think them through, any changes that are happening around that area. Just take a moment. For Cancer, it's always great to sleep on it, okay? So take a moment to see what's happening there and see how you really feel about it. Don't make any rash decisions. And with the Jupiter conjunct Pluto in this area of your 7th house of relationships, that gives you an opportunity to really sort of get sort of down to business on the heart level and decide for yourself what do you really want in your life. So this is very much a turning point for you, and such a great time of the year. Okay, so but it's up to you, Cancer, to make these hard decisions for yourself, and you're capable of doing that. So put some time aside this week to, get your thoughts together, okay? All right, Leo. So Mars still right opposite your sign, Leo. Very passionate time for you with Mars in your relationship area. Really a great time to just live in the moment and enjoy life and enjoy the people that you love and adore and the people that are there for you, and reach out for them just that a little bit more, okay? Spend the time with them. The new moon is in your work area. It's in your solar sixth house, so this is very much to do with productivity, very much to do with getting your life organized, your day-to-day life, and getting it organized in the way that it's going to work for you. And of course it's it's hard to make sure that your plan is going to work 7 days a week. I try to work on the 5-2 rule personally. I try to make sure that I do the things that I want to do, look after my health, my well-being, my meditation, or my productivity 5 days a week, and then I allow myself to sort of set threes, let loose on the 2 days a week, okay? So you give yourself that little bit of flexibility. But certainly with the new moon here, it's a new start. You do want to watch that you give yourself that flexibility, particularly in the sixth house, because it's also about looking after you and looking after your overall well-being, okay? And not trying to do too much that there's no time left for you. Now Saturn moves into your solar fifth house, so this gives an indication that areas of relationships or love affairs, you want to be looking for relationships that are going to last the distance rather than frivolous affairs, okay? And this is over the next 3 years, so that's a good time to just get your relationships in order for you. Leo, that sense of belonging that the relationships gives is very important to you. All right. Now, Virgo, right opposite you, Virgo, with Neptune at the end of the week. On the weekend, we've got the Sun sextiles Neptune. The Sun is in your solar fifth house. It's a very creative area. It's also an area where love affairs can start, and quite an area where you're working together with people. The new moon is in this area as well at the start of the week. So, indicates a fresh start for you with relationships, but try to be a little flexible. Take a leaf out of Sagittarian's book and allow yourself a little bit of freedom. Relationships don't have to always go the way that they have always been. So just because society or your upbringing or your friends have a certain type of relationship, then really you can make your own rules, okay, and bend them and change them so you get a situation that's ideal to you. What's important, Virgo, is that it suits you and your partner and your friends, okay, not, or you and your partner or whoever you've got the relationship with, not everybody else. So try to keep that in mind. On a business level, Mars is still sitting there in your solar sixth house, so even though it's a festive season, many people will be trying to get a little bit of time off this week around the world. You're still going to be busy, okay? So you want to try to not try to do everything. Some things don't have to be completed right now. Some things don't have to be done at all. Okay, so as much as you might like to have a clean slate and cross off every single thing on your to-do list, it's probably not necessary. Give yourself a break and stop to smell the roses, as they say. Okay, so Libra, right opposite you, Libra, we've got Uranus coming out of its retrograde transit. So relationships are going to start to have more clarity. Okay, now, so there's been a little bit of confusion around what's happening, what you want to do, then that can get, finally you can start to get some clarity. By now you've probably weighed up all the pros and cons, which is you love to do, which is a great thing to do. We can all learn from your process of analysis, and now you can start to move forward with that. Still a lot of activity happening in your family zone. So we've got a new moon in here. So it's a fresh start, all to do around your home and family. Some decisions are likely to be made over this period. There's Mercury in here, which is a thinking planet. We do have a couple of aspects with Mercury at the start of the week. One, there's a square with Uranus, so even though you are probably, ready to make some decisions, try not to make, if you haven't got everything totally together, there is a warning here not to be too rash. Okay, make sure you think it through, which of course you would. We also have Mercury in a conjunction for Pluto, so with this, it's in your fourth house of relationships. Both of these planets' conjunction is that it's right in the same degree, sort of together, conjoined together. So if something's happened, been going down around family, and we have Saturn moving into your third house, which is to do with siblings, and there has been quite a bit of activity leading up around family and siblings around this time. You want to sort of just take a step back. There is a new start, but it seems to me with this aspect that if you can get some balance and perspective in what your part of the scenario is as well, and do a little bit of self-analysis just to make sure that that's sort of balanced out, and then put it behind you, move forward, and realize that you can't always please everybody. Some decisions, most decisions really, someone's going to, end up not being happy somewhere along the line. So, just know that, accept it, and, it is what it is. And just let it be, okay? All right, so moving on to Scorpio. So, Scorpio, you've had Saturn in your sign now for a few years, so most likely you've been, things have come up that perhaps are from the past or from your family, your early childhood, and psychological things that have been triggered that you've just had to look at. There's been no escaping them. But Saturn now is moving out of your area. It will move back next year for a short period, for a 3-month period between June and September. But it's moving into your solar second house. So you want to be careful with this, or be aware that with Saturn will encourage you to continue to develop your self-worth. And the solar second house is very much about your security, your material security, and it's almost like from a financial level and a material security, how much you believe you're worthy of accepting is how much you will attract. Okay, so the more that you can continue to work on your self-worth and self-discovery, then the more you can clear blocks, and the more that you can attract in your life what you want, okay? And of course, that's what we all want. Now, there's a lot of activity in your solar third house. This can be to do with siblings. We also have Mars in your family area, so you want to be careful that you don't say anything rash around family or with siblings. Think it through. Find out first of all what you want to achieve, what outcome you're looking for, and then you can go in. You're very strategic anyway, Scorpio, and this is this is certainly a week for you to use that to your advantage, okay? Use all your skills. Now, let's have a look at business. Jupiter is still there in your solid 10th house right through to August next year. I'll probably say that to you every week, I'm sorry. So this is almost a time where you can be in the right place at the right time with business. Jupiter is retrograde at the moment, so if you feel like there's delays, then it's probably for a reason, okay? And there could be things going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of. Now, there is Uranus in your solar 6th house, which is very much to do with your work, your productivity, your day-to-day activity coming out of retrograde this week. So even though if you feel things have been a little bit on hold, you can start to get some clarity and they can start to move forward, and you can at least start to do some planning for the next year, and things hopefully will, start to fall into place for you this week, okay? All right, so Sagittarius, so you've got Saturn moving into your sign this week. Sagittarius, going to be there for the best part of 3 years. It will exit and retreat back into Scorpio next year for a 3-month period between June and September, but pretty well you've got Saturn here. So lucky you, Saturn is the planet of solidity, permanency, reality. Also can be hard work, limitation, okay? It will prompt you or encourage you to get in touch with past issues that have happened in your life, family issues, particularly with father, or stability of your upbringing. So if there's anything that you need to deal with there, then that'll be triggered through certain aspects that happen over this next 3-year period that will almost be impossible for you to escape it, okay? But it'll come up when it's meant to come up, and you'll deal with it when you're able to deal with it. So just for now, know that with Saturn in your sign, it will help you build solid foundations for the future, okay? All right, now the new moon is in your solar 2nd house, all to do with money, possessions, very much to do with your self-worth as well. And we do have Pluto and thinking planet of communication, Mercury in these areas as well. So in one sense, this gives you a good flair for business, very good for doing projects that are going to be financially viable, and in another sense, you want to make sure that everything you do is at the highest level of integrity, particularly surrounding money, and be very upfront there. But you can set great foundations over this period for new projects that are going to be financially viable. There is in this position of your chart, there is a prompting for you to work on your self-worth, okay? Because certainly in the 2nd house, it's like almost like how much you feel you're worthy of attracting is how much you'll attract, okay? So you want to get out of your own way there, for instance. Now, if we have a look at Neptune in your solar 4th house, there is a opportunity to do around family and money as well, but you want to see it for what it is as well, all right? Not be clouded by what you want it to be. All right, let's move on to Capricorn. New moon in your sign, Capricorn. All right, this is your annual new moon. It's the start of your next solar phase, so it's a very, very nice time. There's a lot of activity and a lot of planets in your sign right now. So, of course, Pluto is still there. The sun is there. We've got at the end of the week, start of the weekend, the sun is in a nice sextile with imaginative and intuitive Neptune, and this is an area in your 3rd house, so it's very much to do with communication, very much to do with creativity. So I use that to get together business ideas, and many of you will be trying to have a little bit of time off this week, and that's great, because if you can just get that space, allow yourself to have some downtime, well, that's really when the creativity and your imagination can really spark. And with this aspect on the 27th, that gives it a boost, okay? And you can come up, everything can start to fall into place. If you've been working on some projects, I certainly have, and haven't had a lot of time. I have a few new projects, haven't had a lot of time to work on them, so I'm certainly hoping to have a little bit of downtime to allow my mind to come up with that creativity and that inspired thought. So I would ask every Capricorn to try and do the same. Now, there is a square between Uranus and Mercury this week as well, early in the week, so you want to be a little bit careful with your dealings with family. Sometimes it's best to say nothing, if you can't see. Remember that old saying my mother used to say, I think everybody's mother used to say it, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So be careful of saying something rash that you can't take back, all right? On a romantic level, you've got Venus in your sign, so it's not all about work, Capricorn, it's also about romance. So you want to, spend some time with the people that you love. If you're single, this is one of the times where you can certainly meet somebody who's worthy of your affections, okay? All right, so you're not Uranus, that's your ruling planet at Aquarius. We've got Mars still in your sign, and this is likely to still make you feel very busy and hectic during this time. Mars energy, if you're using it right and being productive with it, then it can really you can really get a lot done. If you're not organized, then it can just have you spinning your wheels and, busy but not really achieving anything. So there's a way to work with the Mars energy, and that is to get yourself organized. Be careful of getting too distracted, which is easy over this time because it is the festive season and a lot of people are trying to get some time off. So we're all trying to finish our to-do lists and get everything sort of, signed, sealed, and organized so we can do that. But in the process, Aquarius, don't knock yourself out so much that, you don't have any energy to enjoy yourself, okay? So be a little bit aware of that. The new moon this week is in the sign before you with a whole bunch of other planets there as well. So this really prompts you to listen to your intuition. It's a great time to get inspired about what you want to achieve in your life, what your true purpose is. Are you following your path? Are you doing what you want? If not, this is a week to really have some downtime, think it through, and, remember, you don't have to change everything at once. In fact, the best way, I think, to really incorporate change into your life is to do it step by step. Otherwise, it can get a little bit overwhelming. But a great year to do that, or time to do that. Saturn moves into your solar 11th house, which is going to put more emphasis on friends and more emphasis on the people that you want in your life. So over this, it's a 3-year position. So over this next longer period of time, don't be surprised if you let go of some people simply because you're moving in different directions, which will make then space, a void in your life to attract different people in, okay? All right, so lucky last, Pisces, my favorite. Of course, you know, they're all my favorite, but I do have a special love for Pisces. Um, so with Neptune in your sign, this week at the end of the week, the start of the weekend is in a sextile with the Sun, and the Sun is sitting there in your 11th house along with the Moon. We have a new moon in this area as well. So this is like a very, very nice time for you, Pisces, and a very nice aspect to finish off the year in, because the 11th house is all about friends. It's a very social area of your chart. There's, with the new moon there, it's like a new beginning. You could very well be letting go of some people in your life that simply do not serve you anymore. But you know, as soon as you do that, then it just opens up a space for you to invite other people into your life. And as I think I said last week, and I say often to you, out of all the signs, you really need to be very, very careful of the people you associate with. You feel energy acutely rather, and sometimes I get my words mixed up, excuse me for that. And you don't have, you are the most sensitive sign. So, and really you're one of those people that as soon as you meet someone, you know straight away pretty well what they're like, and you know, whether you're going to be compatible and whether those people are going to be compliment you and be good for you. So pay attention to that, okay? And you have an opportunity now to break free from some people. And if you feel that's right for you to do so, then take that opportunity. Because as I said, the moment you do that, then that's the moment that you will allow other people to come through. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have a bust up or anything. It just simply means you're heading in different directions, okay? So there is a aspect with Uranus this week, a square with communication planet Mercury, so you want to be a little bit careful about making any rash decisions, particularly around money and anything that's going to, there's Yogi, he's saying hello, my puppy dog. So anything that's going to perhaps have the potential to disrupt your security. So think it through. You may decide to go with the first thing you thought of because that's your intuition, but it's advisable just to take your time to think things through right now, okay? On a romantic note, Venus is there also in your solar 11th house, so you want to feel that that when you get together with someone romantically on an intimate level, that there's a great deal of trust and friendship. It's like through the time, I mean, it's only over time that you really get to build strong, deep friendships. And although Pisces can fall in love in an instant, if anybody can, you know, relate to love at first sight, it's Pisces. You don't necessarily make quick decisions, okay? And nor should you, because you really want to be sure that the partner you're with is there for you on all levels, okay? And of course, vice versa. It always goes two ways. All right, so have a lovely week, Pisces. I hope something fabulous happens for you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Love and light and love and luck to you and to everyone. Bye for now.